Hi everyone, today we're making an apple butter cake. I want to show you guys a trick I learned from reading one of my cookbooks. So apparently you're supposed to sift your flour for your cake before you measure it. So here I have 2.5 cups of cake flour that I've already measured, and I wanted to sift it and then remeasure it to see what the difference was like. And as you can see, there's still about 1/2 cup left over. So try this tip next time and see if your cakes turn out different. So now that you have your cake flour sifted and measured, we're actually going to re-sift all of our dry ingredients. So that means 2.5 cups of cake flour, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And don't worry if you're not catching all of the ingredients and measurements. I always include a recipe card at the end of the video. All you gotta do is hit pause and you can get the recipe, and I also put it in the description down below. Now it's time to start creaming together your butter and sugar. The recipe doesn't call for melted butter, so I'm not sure why I thought it was melted, but it still turned out fine. If you're not going to melt the butter, it just needs to be softened butter so that it can cream with the sugar. After mixing that together for about 2 minutes, you're going to start beating in the eggs one at a time, and we're going to add 3 eggs until it's light and fluffy. It's also important to note that all ingredients are room temperature. Now it's time to add the apple butter to the wet ingredients. You're going to need 1.5 cups of apple butter, but reserve 1/4 cup of that for later. So let's have a little bit of a talk about apple butter. So exactly what is it? If you've never had apple butter before, think applesauce, but so much richer and more flavorful. So apple butter is cooked down, so it really intensifies those flavors. It has sweetness, a little bit of tang, and delicious warm spices. It's so good. And the brand I'm using is called the Dutch Kettle. It is a 19-ounce jar. So if you're buying this in a grocery store, a 19-ounce jar is perfect for this recipe. You'll use pretty much all of it. Okay, we are getting to the end of the cake. All you gotta do now is add in those dry ingredients that we've already sifted, and you're gonna alternate this with the buttermilk. So what that means is you're gonna add some of the dry ingredients, then you're gonna add the buttermilk. I just used the hand mixer while doing this, but you are gonna notice on the very last addition of the dry ingredients, I used a spatula to fold things in. I just am always cautious of over mixing any type of batter, so that's why I did that. Once you have everything combined, you're going to add it to a 9x13. I sprayed mine with a little bit of Pam, and you are going to bake at 350 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes. And I have one last tip for you that I learned from one of my books. It says when you spread out your batter to always leave extra kind of around the outside edges, and you want a little bit of, not like a huge divot in the middle, but you want it to be a little lower in the middle, because as the cake rises, it rises in the middle and therefore leaves you with a more level looking cake. Now for the topping of the cake, I decided to do a whipped cream with the reserved apple butter added in. The recipe also says you could do a cream cheese type frosting or a 7-minute frosting, but you guys know I love whipped cream, so I decided to go that route. I'm not gonna have you guys watch me make it again. You guys have watched me do whipped cream so many times. All you're gonna do is whip the whipped cream to the way you like it and then add in the apple butter. It's so good. It gives the whipped cream a little bit of sweetness, but you still get that apple flavor. It was amazing on the cake, but I have a feeling if you like to get creative with your morning coffees, this would be a perfect topping for it because it gives it a subtle apple flavor. And here is the result of all of our labors. And guys, please pay no attention to the holes in the middle of the cake. I could not find a toothpick for the life of me and had to use a butter knife instead. And you know, the best part about this cake is that once it cools, it has the consistency of almost like a banana bread, but fluffier. It is so good, and it's such an easy dessert to make for fall. It's not fussy, it's just something that you can get in the kitchen and enjoy, put on some really relaxing music, and just enjoy yourself, and the end result is so good. And also, would you look at me trying to get this final bite? I was trying so hard to make this aesthetic, you guys, but the cake was still a little too warm and it was so fluffy out of the oven that I could barely get it on the fork. So y'all don't judge me for that. But I had such a fun time here today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and also make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any videos that I put out. And also hit the notification bell and you'll be notified when I put one out. Thank you so much, you guys. I'll see you back here next time on Vintage Cookery.